All right, we're live now. Let's get to it. And welcome to the Follow a Match podcast. You're talking to your boy Blaze here riding solo since my boy Will's dealing with some personal stuff. No worries, we're going to handle this show pretty well. And today we're going to review the biggest stories of this past week. Um, we're going to go ahead and actually dive straight into what happened on Raw. Because really, when you really think about what happened there, we have a scenario where um, we had a few storylines playing out. I actually want to start out with a storyline that started out uh, prior to the airing of WWE Raw. This is a real life kind of talking point that um, Kevin Nash had, where he essentially stated that he thought that Javon Evans needed to be more urban. Okay, so what does that mean? That's what we want to know. What does that mean to be more urban? And the other thing he said was uh, Javon Evans is a little bit too Mr. Bojangles. He said it in a very Kevin Nash way, of course, but yeah, he said that. So what are we looking at with that? I mean, what are we dealing with here? Who are we dealing with here? For real? So you know, the hours came and went, and the internet was like, "Oh my God, what is this guy talking about?" And some people on the internet was like, "Yeah, he's right. He had a poor choice of words, but he's right. He needs to be more edgy. He needs to be uh, less smiley to be taken more serious. Just that type of thing." But there's no need for Javon Evans to change who he is my opinion when it comes to that. Uh, what I am intrigued about is what happened on Monday Night Raw. For one, the triple threat match: Dominic Mysterio, Gunther, and Javon Evans all had a match, and it was a good match. Let's just say that everyone looked like they had their chance to win, but Gunther was taken out of it most of the time by both Dominic and, of course, the third competitor, Javon Evans. So, uh, in that strategy, Gunther got knocked out of the match. He got knocked out of the ring a couple times, and it was effectively 1-on-1 for a little bit for stretches of the match between Dominic and Javon. So, um, towards the end of the match, you definitely saw Javon Evans get chopped a couple times by um, Gunther, and of course, uh, power bomb, which somehow, I mean, look, we're talking about the Gunther power bomb, the one when he folds you in half, the jackknife style pin. Yeah, Javon Evans kicked out of that. Okay, amazing. And Dominic Mysterio, if I'm remembering correctly, knocked Gunther out of the ring after that. Um, and Javon Evans, did his thing and got Gunther out of the ring. I forgot exactly how he did it, but we reached the end, and this is the part that as always, the fans are up for this. And this is a um, move that Javon Evans has uh, pretty much mastered. You know what? Let me take a backtrack. A move that I never seen before. Maybe I missed it on NXT, but this guy did what was called a tornado kick, or tornado roundhouse kick. What's that? So he bounced off the bottom rope using some leverage, kind of like a 1 foot bounce off, and twisted like had to be 720 a twist, and then he extended his leg out and hit Dominic in the top of the head, which laid him out. Um, so that was an amazing move. If I can do a clip of that and show you guys what that's like, man, that was amazing. I didn't know what was going on when I was watching it live, but then I saw it executed, and man, I was pleased with what I saw. But anyway, um, then you got essentially just a changing of um, momentum, is what I'm trying to say. The momentum shifted, and Javon Evans ended up reversing a move because let me just backtrack one way. Javon Evans was down and out because of a couple moves that Dominic did, including the 619. I was very much remiss by not mentioning that. 619 connected, and Dominic was about to do his next move, which is the frog splash after that, since Javon was in position. So from that, he ended up uh, in supine position, as JR used to say it. In that one corner, uh, Javon Evans was just laying there vulnerable, and Dominic jumped and did his frog splash, but he connected to nothing. He connected to straight, mat, because Javon Evans moved. He rolled out the way, and that laid him out to a point where Javon was able to run over to the turnbuckle, jump up to the top rope and up and uh, perform his scintillating OG cutter. So, man, guess what? That's the thing that wrapped it up. That's the thing that got Javon his win. Yes, indeed. You heard that right. Javon Evans won. He punched his ticket to the Elimination Chamber. So back to the Kevin Nash talk. Kevin Nash, was saying all this criticism and all that stuff, but the that criticism, that short sightedness of the greatness that Javon Evans really shows at the age of 21. He's in the Elimination Chamber as a most recent NXT call up. We like to talk about the NXT talent, um, and man, yeah, it was just essentially just a great opportunity for Javon Evans to go out there and put on a show, man. There's people on different shows. I listened to PW Torch, the post show, and uh, they was talking about how there's a chance to have Javon Evans play the Kofi Kingston role. You know, um, go out there and perform in such a way that he's high flying, he's risk taking, he's death defying, those types of things. So that's that's his role. And you know what? Some things happen in Elimination Chamber that kind of tweaks how you perform afterwards. Think about the New Day. The New Day, they had the momentum from being the funny, joking baby faces, but they went up against the Usos in the Elimination Chamber. It unlocked a side of the New Day that you hadn't seen. A lot. It unlocked a side of brutality that wasn't seen. So that just that alone, uh, it unlocked something in your brain that wasn't in there at first, or it was in there, and it finally just came out to the forefront because it had to. That match type, you have the grate on the outside of the ring. You don't go down to the floor. You land on a metal grate on the outside of the ring. There's the fence. There's the um, you know what I'm thinking about? Hell in a Cell actually, but uh, weapons is what you're going to be dealing with. Weapons you're going to be dealing with under the ring. You're going to be dealing with, of course, the steel cage around the elimination chamber. Besides that, you're dealing with the pods. The pods is plexiglass, and there's always spots with that. Can we imagine Javon Evans? Well, for one, he would sell the heck out of being put through one of those pods. He would definitely sell that, and depending on who's in the match, he'll be the perfect person to put through the pods, if there is a powerful competitor in there that can actually make it look like a massacre of Javon Evans, and he'll sell it masterfully. Um, Randy Orton is in there. He's big, but he's not really a power wrestler for real. Um, Even more so, he's finesse, and I'm just trying to think of who could be that competitor that forces Javon Evans into the plexiglass pod. But anyway, just think about it, man. This is going to be a coming out party for Javon Evans. That's all I want to really mention. That's the biggest takeaway I had from that. So, um, let's move on to the next piece of information here. So we're dealing with the masked man attacks. Okay, so um, Logan freaking Paul. During the match. First, let's set this up. So there was a promo cut by LA Knight after, excuse me, after um, the Vision came out and was talking some trash as usual, and the story between LA Knight and the Vision really just keeps evolving to a point where, man, he LA Knight roasted Logan Paul, calling him broccoli head, stupid broccoli head. So there was a little bit more sauce to what he said, but we're not going to repeat that here. And there was a 6-man match that occurred essentially because LA Knight realized he was outnumbered. It went from LA Knight being alone to LA Knight having some assistance from the Usos who came out to kind of talk a little bit too. So they're there. It's official in terms of Adam Pierce, so that match became official. And what ultimately ended up being the story to me is Logan Paul got caught by the masked man while he was talking trash to the commentary. He had his head stomped through the table. If that table would have broke, that would have been amazing, but it didn't. And there goes the speculation of, was it Logan Paul that's behind the mask? Because it's not. It's not. He got his head stomped in too. So who is this? Who is doing all these stomps right now? That's what we need to know. Is it there's even further speculation about Grayson Waller in the last few days, and now there's talk of it being Grayson Waller because there was a tattoo, that looks like a Grayson Waller tattoo because Grayson Waller's leg exposed a little bit during last week. Or I'm sorry, the masked man leg got exposed and looked something like a Grayson Waller tattoo, as well as the shoes. The shoes are the similar style of shoes that Grayson Waller wears. So in that scenario, man, it could make sense in the sense of uh, there being a common denominator as far as enemy in Austin Theory. That partnership soured. And truly, when you really look back at that partnership between Grayson Waller and uh, Austin Theory, uh, they just grew tired of one another. They truly did. Um, and that story can have legs if presented correctly, is what I'm trying to say here. So, um, is it him? I don't know. There's also, man, would you believe it? There is speculation that the person could be um, Chris Jericho of all people. I just can't see it being Chris Jericho. Um, and we'll talk about Chris Jericho again because I think there's also speculation about involvement in another new development in story that's adding another layer of mystery here. And finally, the other layer of this is it's a surprise. It's someone that nobody's expecting. Um, Somebody that um, is just a competitor or maybe a non-competitor that's just going out there and wreaking havoc just to do it. Um, yeah, so that's what we got about that. Um, oh, one last thing here, and I'm just curious about this elimination chamber. When this chamber happens, right? Who is going to be the one that uh, gets attacked next, if anybody? Are we actually going to get the reveal during the elimination chamber, or will it, extend into WrestleMania season? To kind of have that looming figure attacking division, and who knows who else? So also, could this be a elaborate ruse by Seth Rollins? Perhaps even him being the one that's behind the attacks, whether it's him physically doing it or Seth Rollins being the mastermind that he is behind such a such a underhanded slash intriguing uh, style of attacks. That's taking place here on a heel uh, faction that's the Vision. So there we go when it comes to that. Um, I don't have enough information to really know who it is. I'm not going to give a prediction on that. But anyway, there's another story that's been brewing as well. And this is more so bleeding into SmackDown now, which happened this past Friday. Um, Current WWE champion. We all know he has almost like a relationship style um, a relationship style affection towards that title. He wants to hold on to it. It's his baby. He is like it's his title to have. No one else can have it. So uh, when Cody Rhodes, who lost the title to um, Drew McIntyre, ended up uh, declaring war with that promo where he said his famous lines of, calling himself uh, Raheem, that had the internet buzzing last week. Man, it's this war, man. This war is going to be fire because Cody Rhodes is out there. He's going from this baby face that doesn't really want to attack, doesn't really want to, you know, do something that's underhanded to being someone that is doing behind the back attacks, is winning by um, questionable actions, that we'll touch on a little bit more when it comes to um, uh, certain match outcomes. Uh, So let's get into this because I'll be uh, sure to mention this. This is a triple threat match to decide who's going to be going into the Elimination Chamber match. So this was a big deal. It truly was. I mean, you're looking at Jacob Fatu. This guy is repeatedly attacking Drew McIntyre. So this Drew McIntyre guy is being attacked by two people. You have one. Essentially, he's out there on his own. He's not affiliated with the Bloodline anymore, so he's not affiliated with the MFTs anymore. He is a man standing on his own, uh, and I'm looking at him as a tweener. He's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's just out there doing and enforcing his will, just doing everything he can to exact revenge on what he believes is um, the reason why he was attacking. That's Drew McIntyre attacking Jacob Fatu so long ago and knocking his teeth out his mouth and essentially causing uh, him to be out for months. I mean, we're talking no elimination chamber. Uh, 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 presence, no Royal Rumble presence by Jacob Fatu beyond what he did during his attacks. So up until this point. So um, this match happens. Sami Zayn is the third competitor, and he has his own story of just wanting to win this match. He's past due an opportunity to be WWE champion or even World Heavyweight champion. Um, and it's his mission. He said, "I will be WWE champion." That's his mission. He said that to Trick Williams. He says it to anyone that's going to be in his face, telling him that he doesn't deserve it. So um, that's where you run into what happened later on in the match, where not even in the match, but in the show. And I'm kind of jumping ahead only because um, the attempts to uh, just come out and talk his trash was thwarted this episode because um, of being attacked twice. Once by Cody and once by Jacob Fatu. Um, but he finally was just like, and let's talk about some actions first. Let's talk about the actions that was taken here by Drew. Drew came out and hit Cody with a I was about to say crossroads with a the kick that Drew McIntyre does. For some reason, it's escaping me, but the kick that Drew McIntyre does. So he did that, completely taking Cody out of the picture for a while. Um, that opened up an opportunity for Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn ended up making sure that he attacked uh, Jacob Fatu when he could because he had an opening opportunity. And in trying to kick Jacob Fatu in the face, Jacob Fatu moved out the way quickly, and he ended up kicking Drew McIntyre uh, in the face. Um, oh, but you know what? I skipped a whole part. That's the most important here. Jacob, not Jacob Fatu. Cody Rhodes was knocked out from the Drew McIntyre kick. Claymore kick is what it is. The Claymore, and he crawled. Got him in the ring, rolled him into the middle of the ring, placed Sami Zayn on top. Guys, is it just me, or is Drew McIntyre picking the least threatening opponent in this match to try to better his chances of winning when this match in Elimination Chamber comes around. So um, yeah, and of course we know that Drew is trying to just make it so that his biggest threats are out of the way, for him to just maintain this championship win for as long as possible. Um, there's a little history behind, him wanting to keep his belt for as long as possible, and we'll get into that with some additional content that's going to be coming later on this week. Um, so here we are. That's exactly what we had to cover when it came to that particular rivalry. Um, the CM Punk and Roman Reigns back and forth promo. This was, my goodness. I know we just bounced back to WWE Raw stuff, but my goodness, no Roman Reigns this week, but CM Punk and Finn Balor, they had a promo battle between one another. Um, CM Punk is doing his best to really get into Finn Balor's head that the Judgment Day is not for him. In fact, the Judgment Day is holding him back because CM Punk knows that Finn Balor has the capabilities, has the not even potential. He just needs an opportunity to show, and this is what Punk is saying. He just needs opportunity to show that he can be worthy of a championship shot. So um, this is just another story that is playing out while CM Punk is also happened to deal with his known opponent, who's going to be Roman Reigns. Um, the only thing I'm really going to say about this is there's been teases and just almost like a peeling back of the heel version of um, Finn Balor. He's coming out to his music that he had, ever since he's been with NXT. He's asking for Judgment Day to not get involved, So he had a newly returned JD McDonough. He held him back when CM Punk was talking some trash to him, to Finn Balor, and all JD was trying to do was just defend Finn. And no, it's like, are we getting a baby face Finn Balor? Or is this kind of like a situation where he's just not going to take as many shortcuts as he has been the last several years? There was speculation on the pod, Wade Keller post show podcast, that Finn Balor may be excommunicated the same way Edge was, the same way that Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest was, in terms of just, you're no longer part of Judgment Day. You're trying to step up as a leader, but you're not going to be a part of us anymore because you're not aligned with what we're trying to do. So who knows how that would happen, but uh, there's also additional speculation, that all of this is just adding up to Finn Balor feeling like he needs to bring out the demon. So are we going to get Demon Balor for the first time in several years? And the last time we saw him, it was a loss to Roman Reigns. So CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor. There's a little mix of things going on there. It's not fully materialized yet. and that's most likely because we have until WrestleMania to really materialize this. Um, so even if Finn Balor ends up losing that Elimination Chamber, maybe, just maybe, there's still going to be some sort of intertwining story happening between these three men: Finn Balor, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. Um, the next story we're going to cover is going to be um, Liv Morgan. All right, so this segment was one of intrigue to me because um, they've been and they being Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan, as well as on the SmackDown side, Liv Morgan been teasing that she would um, pick Jade Cargill, um, which let's just say it. Liv Morgan is trying to pick her, um, not pick her poison, but like the pick of the litter. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, and who is she gonna pick? For her, being a heel, being someone that wants to try to take advantage of an opportunity that's given, she's gonna pick the easiest story to try to come out of it as a champion. Um, she's gonna try to leverage her stablemates, which I don't remember seeing much in the way of even more teases of tension. I may have missed it, and it wasn't mentioned during any of the reviews I was looking at. But um, Raquel's going to be there. Um, um, Roxanne Perez is going to be there. So could she leverage that and take advantage of Stephanie Vaquer since they have history um, with that whole stable already in the last several weeks? So that's something to truly consider, especially coming off a um, loss, that Raquel had. There's just a lot of layers and a lot of potential for this to get really uh, a bad situation for Stephanie. But man, oh man, speaking of Stephanie, this segment was a backstage segment with Michael Cole. Michael Cole, let me tell you something. He deserves his flowers, and I think people are realizing that. They've realized that over the past several years. Um, they was just having some small talk, and they being Liv Morgan and Michael Cole. Michael Cole noticed that Dominic Mysterio came into the room where they were having the small talk in preparation for an interview, and Michael Cole just immediately said, "Who invited you here?" So hilarious. And then next thing you have Stephanie Vaquer, ball of fire, coming in and being extremely forward, extremely aggressive. I'm not going to say assertive, aggressive towards Liv Morgan, because in Spanish, she essentially was saying, "You are not a fighter. You are not working hard. You are not from where I'm from. You have not experienced what I experienced. I'm from um, uh, Chile. Chile doesn't have professional wrestling. I scratched and clawed all over the world. I earned this spot. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know where I'm from. You won't understand. I scratched and clawed and did everything I could to get to where I'm at to be champion. And all you want to do is just essentially squirm your way into a championship opportunity." And Stephanie wants Liv to pick her. I don't blame her. I truly don't. And just so you know, this promo wasn't in English. That Stephanie cut. This was completely in Spanish with Dominic hilariously uh, playing translator. So it was hilarious. Um, By the end, though, hilarity aside, and that's really more. That was more so a background situation. Um, Liv, she broke down. She broke down. What I mean by that, tears, crying. Like Dominic had to uh console her because she was crying some real tears there. So um Michael Cole tried to do his job and say, hey, about this situation, let's talk about this. No. Dominic was like, let's get out of here. We're out of here. We need some time. We need some space. So they left the scene. Michael Cole looking the way Michael Cole looks sometimes when he's left alone, just like, what happened? So what do you think? What do you guys think? Do you think Stephanie Bakira is the best choice for Liv? Um, I pointed out the advantages that there is, or is it a better choice to pick Jade Cargill? Jade Cargill, she's arrogant, she's strong. She talks big talk as being a champion. I mean, she commands a room. So um, what advantages, what disadvantages are you seeing? In picking between uh, the ladies of Judgment Day, essentially. In particular, Liv Morgan, um, having that advantage and being able to take on an already, you know, vulnerable, if you want to call it that, or fire it up, if you want to call it that, Stephanie Vaquer, or should you go after someone that uh, not so much history, but there's teases because Jade Cargill, she's the one trying to goad Liv Morgan to go ahead and pick her so she can go ahead and handle her business and knock her out and just prove that she's the dominant force on SmackDown. So um, I talked a whole lot about it. There's not a lot to talk about with the Jade and Liv dynamic. It's just still developing, I think. But right now, my early prediction is that it's going to be Stephanie McIntyre and Liv Morgan. They got something going. All right, so I'm just going to touch on this briefly, only because I don't have as much opinion about it much. It's happening. The AJ Lee has returned, and you know, being that AJ Lee is from Chicago, just like of course CM Punk. They're gonna have the Elimination Chamber there, and um, one thing I do want to mention, it's when Becky Lynch is in her bag. I want to call her bag because she always finds some way for her character to evolve a little bit and become what I think now is like she's this unhinged kind of, she's cracking is more so what it is. Like this facade of I'm the man. Now she's cracking because AJ Lee has thwarted her, for her championship, and that broke her to pieces. That broke Becky Lynch to pieces. So now, it's almost like the presence of AJ Lee just drives Becky Lynch crazy. Like insane, so you're seeing just the maniacal laughs or the babbling, about what's happening. It's almost like she's talking, answering herself, talking, and AJ Lee. If you know the history of AJ Lee's character, AJ Lee is like crazy. She's the one that's baddie or supposed to be, but AJ Lee's even looking around like, what's wrong with Becky? What's wrong with Becky? So um, AJ Lee kind of talked her way into a championship match, and that's what she's got. That's exactly what she's got. Um, Becky just wanted the match, but AJ Lee what was the deal? What was the deal that AJ Lee said, or that not even AJ Lee said? AJ Lee just kind of like agreeing to points that was being made that Becky was saying, "Oh, you want my title, don't you? You want my title, don't you?" You know, so um, yeah, it's a interesting um way to build up to a match. Um, and I'll be interested to see how well AJ Lee does in her return match. Um, has she been in the lab, you know, working with some wrestlers that have um, proven that they can, you know, work in the ring behind the scenes, you know, as far as training with known assets in the ring and training, like the dungeon with Natty and TJ. Um, I predict that's what happened in that we're going to see a match, a much better showing from AJ Lee. I personally think it risks her credibility as being a legend if AJ Lee doesn't come out looking uh, ready to wrestle and looking like she hasn't missed a step. Because lately AJ Lee's been playing the hits, you know, rather than actually, you know, showing new wrinkles to offense and stuff like that. Um, so who's gonna win? I don't know who's gonna win. I really don't. The easy answer is just Becky. Becky's gonna win again. But I just don't predict that this will be over. I think AJ Lee versus Becky is going to be a thing, whether it's due to another tag match, you know, with returning Seth Rollins, or if it's just going to be some sort of triple threat between AJ Lee, um, uh, Maxine Dupree, and Becky Lynch. You know, so it's a few things. It's a few, you know, possible directions, but I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. It's kind of too early to tell. Um, so man, the way that I did this today, I mixed up both SmackDown and Raw, and talked a whole lot about Raw really. But that's because that's where the stories are, especially most recently. Um, Randy Orton qualified for the men's elimination chamber. That's confirmed. We have Cody Rhodes in there. We have LA Knight, yeah, and we have Javon Evans. Yer. So I should never do that again. And there's two spots left. Real quick, let me look up the matches that were already announced for next week. Um, there's a couple of just uh, notes I wanted to go ahead and cover when it came to the men's match because there's two spots remaining and there's a qualifying match next week. So um, let me look that up real quick. Excuse my silence. What is the qualifying qualifier match on Raw for Elimination Chamber next week? Oh crap! No. Excuse me there. I made a mistake. Okay. So on the um, men's side, you have Jey Uso, the original, the OG El Grande Americano, and Bronson Reed. They're going to be vying between one another to uh, win a spot in Elimination Chamber. Quick and easy prediction, I think, is going to be Bronson Reed that's going to win. Only because that's going to present a layer of nuance to the Vision story. But also, he's going to be the prerequisite. big guy in the match. He's going to bring the power in the match. Remember, I mentioned about Javon Evans being, thrown through a pod. Bronson Reed could do that. And then on the lady side, since we didn't talk too much about the Elimination Chamber qualifying matches that happened this past week, I'm going to go ahead and just mention the next qualifying match, which is Raquel Rodriguez versus Io Sky versus Kairi Sane. Some layers there too, a couple different stories conversion there. Raquel Rodriguez, would be a power player in that Elimination Chamber match should she win. But man, Io Sky, tell you what, if Io Sky wins, we already got Rhea Ripley in qualified for the Elimination Chamber. It's just going to be a good showing between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Should they end up going at odds because they eliminated the rest of the competitors. Kairi Sane, she's going to be in there very apologetic, I'm sure, as well. And, that's what I forgot to mention. Asuka, she qualified. And she's moving forward. So, if you get another member of the Kabuki Warriors in there, interesting. If you get another member of the trio of that was once Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Asuka, if Kairi Sane doesn't win but Io does, you already know it's going to be on site with Io Sky and and Asuka. So it's an interesting dynamic of that possibility. I'm liking these qualifying matches because it's creating intrigue towards what's going to happen next, and it brings up talking points. And like, I wasn't even planning on talking about these things, but I'm already talking about it because it's interesting. Raquel Rodriguez, of course, the Judgment Day stuff. Liv Morgan, especially after what happened this past week, will she try to influence the outcome? And what I mean by that is, will she try to prevent Raquel from winning so that there is not a chance that if Liv does somehow picking um, uh, Stephanie Vaquer, forgive me, I lost my train of thought there, but essentially that dynamic that I talked about earlier, I don't have to go through that again, but just Liv is going to try to avoid difficult possibilities for her being a champion, I think. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. All right, and what else do we have? Do I want to make predictions? I'm not sure if I want to make predictions really for this sort of it's too early. It's too early to predict who's going to win Elimination Chamber because we don't have all the power players, or not all the power players. We don't have all the competitors qualified yet. So it's hard to tell who's gonna be up in there as the number one people. Excuse the silence here. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that I missed. I really don't think so. The mid card stuff, it is what it is. I do think that it was funny on SmackDown when yeah, I forgot all about this. Well, we'll mention this because this is like character stuff. Um, I did think it was funny that uh, Trick Williams went out there and fried Sami Zayn. I mean, seriously. Um, what does this even mean? You're you're moping around. Your hair ain't done. Um, your hair ain't done. He said. He said your breath smelling like 10 pounds of bounce that ass. Man, are you serious? We're talking about a man that just has the charisma to pull off these lines. Like when I performed it, when I said it, it didn't have the weight, the hilarity, the charisma behind it that this man, Trick Williams has. Man, it's gonna be so much interesting. Seeing him further develop, man. And speaking of just going further, he has an opportunity between um, himself, Carmelo Hayes, and um, oh gosh, who's the third competitor? Let me take a look real quick. SmackDown. I'm looking it up on for SmackDown since I already talked about Raw. So SmackDown. SmackDown. Nope. Come on, where are you? I'm gonna have to do some post podcast magic to make these awkward silences be less. Um, Damian Priest, yeah, in a triple threat match. So yes. Um, and the other qualifier that's going to happen on next week's SmackDown that we can look forward to is Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax versus Kiana James. So we got Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams versus Damian Priest as well. So those two are going to, or those two matches rather, are going to just kind of prove, you know, where the pecking order is in those respective mid cards, really, because those are mid card competitors that are going to be competing for a spot in an elimination chamber. Um, if I had to make a prediction, ooh, Damien could be another competitor that actually can come out of this looking like a number one contender, you know, for the championship belt that um, Drew McIntyre is holding. History there too. Um, for freshness though, um, I think. Ooh, ooh, I don't know. For some reason, I want Carmelo Hayes in Elimination Chamber. I just want him in that match. It seems like he's going to bring something. He's going to bring something in there that will allow for some interesting dynamic between he and uh, Joanne Evans, for example. So I think I can see that happening. Um, and within this triple threat match itself, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, they obviously, Trick Mello Gang, they obviously have history, you know, so that's going to be something to kind of look at how they're going to interact. I mean, it's essentially their first, you know, interaction in terms of fighting one another or working together. It depends on how this works out. Since Trick Williams has been permanently brought up to the main roster on SmackDown. Um, I don't have a lot to say, other than the possibility of there being a wedge put between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair being in the same match. Um, but we shall see with that, you know. Um, Man, I think really, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Um, so just to wrap this up, um, we had an interesting, entertaining week in wrestling. Um, oh! You know what I forgot about? I forgot all about the excuse me, SmackDown, not SmackDown, NXT. Um, I didn't sit down and watch this week's very closely. I looked at, read about it and saw highlights about it though. I do think, and I cannot think of his name, but this guy made a huge mistake in challenging Keanu Carver. Um, who? Let me look at his name because I gotta get this right because this choice this guy's making a choice that essentially will end his in his career even before it starts in WWE, especially in NXT. So we're looking at uh, Keanu Carver versus Sean Legacy, and that's who it is. Sean Legacy is he's essentially digging his own grave. I get what he's trying to do. I know he's trying to show bravery. I know he's trying to show competitiveness. Um, I know he wants to be that guy that comes off as he's coming off ready to fight. You know, I know he's trying to do that, regardless of who the challenge is. But man, dude, I question your sanity, dude. I really do. Um, Keanu Carver blasted you through the NXT set, the barricade, and such, with so much velocity, so much speed and power, explosiveness, all of the above. He's like a linebacker tackling a vulnerable wide receiver. That's what he looked like. And man, geez, Louise, I'm gonna watch it. It happened. It happened already. I think the match did. So I'm gonna have some more to say about that next week. Um, Another thing I wanted to touch on with NXT is Joe Hendry, man. Joe Hendry. He came out there. He celebrated his win. You know, we didn't have the balloons. We didn't have the pyro. We didn't have any cartoony segment that happened there. But what we did have was um, Joe Hendry proving he's the consummate babyface. You know, saying the mantra of "We are NXT." You know, towards the crowd. You know, and he told him that we're in the Joe Hendry era, and um, it's his time to shine, essentially. You know, so that's where we went. Um, Later on, he went on to have a match with um, man, what is his name? He's a member of the Vanity Project. He had a match with him, um, and yeah, came away with the victory, but he not without being beat up by his nemesis at this point, uh, Ricky Saints. You know, so um, we'll see how that develops. Perhaps it will be something that will um, play out and become a great match. I do wonder to myself how long will um, Joe Hendry be champion. You know, because he talked about being happy that everyone believed in him because even Joe Hendry had doubt, that he could do it. You know, so this is a man of the people. I mean, So, um, the man that wants to represent NXT and make the NXT in his image, though, Ricky Saints, man, he wants to take that belt back. He had it for a short time and lost it right back to um, Obafemi. And if I'm remembering correctly, Ricky Saints didn't take the pin, when he did lose that belt, because it was a triple threat stipulation or multi-man match. So I don't think he got pinned to lose that belt, So he has a gripe, but he's going about it in a very slimy way, attacking and just making sure that Joe Hendry does not come away unscathed, even if there is not a match between them that allows for them to work out their differences and fight out their differences, So yeah, um, I usually would have a segment of the match deep cut. Um, a slight tweak of the format with that. Instead of talking about an actual match, I'm going to talk about a wrestler that had a tryout. Nikki Blackheart. I mean, this woman is a powerhouse. In talking to Will about it, he said that she is a mix of Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace. I couldn't agree more. I mean, she's powerful. She moves in a way that I mean, she got some confidence in her, and that's gonna get you far. Um, she's imposing too, So um, just go check out the highlights if you can find a match. Check out a match. I saw highlights, and man, she's got it. She's gonna be if she gets signed to WWE to a developmental contract. It's not gonna be long before that woman's on TV. That's all I gotta say about her when it comes to that. Um, all right, that's all I got. I truly appreciate you being um, a part of our show. We're gonna do some fun stuff, like I mentioned, with kind of a little bit more information towards the history of Drew Holiday. I said Drew Holiday. Man, you can tell I'm an NBA head too. Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes. That dynamic is going to get looked at a little bit closer, but mostly from the Drew McIntyre perspective. So I'm going to put something together for that. And I'm also going to put something together just to kind of pick out some of the biggest highlights of the week, much like I did previously. It's just going to be some shorts. It's going to be some longer form clips. So just be on the lookout for that. And of course, Will is going to do his thing. I expect for him to be back. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to do what all the creators say. Like the channel. That's the following match. Subscribe to the channel. Put the thumbs up in that button that you like to press. So do that. Show some love. It's gonna help us out. So we just want to grow, man. We need this community to grow, man. So also, if you have any comments, any questions, any disagreements, any agreements, any ideas you want to bring up, we're in the comments. We're going to be listening. We're going to be commenting when we can. The past few comments that I've seen for the shorts, I made sure to reply thoughtfully. It's not just a thumbs up or something. No, you're going to get a thoughtful reply. So we're going to look out for that. Greatly appreciate any interaction that way so we can build up this community. I'm gonna go ahead and shout out my social medias so you can watch me, watch my channel on YouTube. It's CJ Calvin 11. Um, then I'm on X. That's going to be CJ Calvin XI, and you can find me on Instagram. That's also going to be CJ Calvin 11. With my screen name just showing as CJ, aka Blaze. So that's you guy. Follow me. I interact there too, as far as replying to comments, and I appreciate any likes and follows that you give me at those places too. Um, I have a lot of fun on both those platforms. Um, so yes, thank you. I appreciate once again you being a part of this community, and have a wonderful week coming up.